Hi, I'm Steve Wylie with E2 TV. I'm here at the Enterprise 2.0 Conference 2012 in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm joined by Nathan Bricklin, who is Senior Vice President of Social Strategy for Wells Fargo Bank. Nathan just wrapped up his keynote here at the conference. We wanted to just get a quick reaction and first say nice job on the talk.
Thank you very much.
I think it was a great way to kick off the event this week.
Excellent.
We're hearing a lot more great customer use cases coming forward in the agenda here this week, and I'm excited about that. And I think yours was a great way to really lean into how a large enterprise like Wells Fargo, I think you mentioned there's what, 250,000?
265, yeah.
265,000 employees around the world. It's a huge, huge organization. So we just wanted to get a little reaction from you on some of the things that you touched on in your talk here. So I wonder if you could just kind of briefly describe what was the main takeaway from your talk this morning.
Yeah, so I think the main takeaway is last year was really when I got started, and we've made some tremendous progress. And so I think the main takeaway is it really doesn't matter when you start, it just matters that you start and that you learn from others. So the way we moved so quickly was we were learning from what others, we weren't reinventing the wheel. We were learning best practices from across the social web and then adding on top of that some of the things that were specific to our culture.
And you mentioned there was a few people in particular that you had in mind that you had come across here at the E2 conference that were thought leaders in the space, people like Ross Mayfield, right? So how important was that to really kind of distill what others had learned from their experiences and put that into practice at Wells Fargo?
It was very important because first of all, what I have found from this community is they're very welcoming, they're very willing to share all kinds of information, and that's really helpful because so often it's like you don't know where to start, you don't know where some of the roadblocks are going to be, and I got that from Ross and Sarah and John and others that I had mentioned in the web. But some of them, frankly, I never even met. Some of them I just followed in the social web because they had provided good information, and I continue to listen to them.
And one of the things that we talk a lot about here at the conference is this idea of social software as its own entity within the organization versus social that's more ingrained or embedded into the existing business processes. You touched on that a little bit in your talk. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what the strategy at Wells Fargo has been around that and how that's working out for you.
Yeah, at Wells, we really don't look at social as being a separate piece. We're really seeing it as layering on top of existing systems. Where our challenge is all of the software vendors out there are adding a social layer to their existing software. So one of the challenges we have is determining which ones we're going to turn on and which ones we're going to turn off so that we don't have so many different social solutions.
Right, so I guess at some point you need to decide where is sort of the center of your social universe within the application suite and bet on that company, that solution.
That's exactly right, and that's challenging because the space is evolving so quickly, and that's one of the challenges we have is, particularly when it comes to, do we want to install something on premise, which from a security standpoint makes a lot of sense for a financial institution, for a financial services institution, or do we want to do a cloud model? We've really been looking at, can we build something that's a hybrid? And that's very interesting to us.
You also mentioned mobile being a big factor there as well. You're doing a lot more on mobile. And those two strategies, are they very much working in parallel?
Yeah, they're working in parallel. I mean, our biggest challenge in mobile is most of the social software works well on a smartphone, but not on others. And so, and then depending on where it's installed, it's either on-prem versus cloud, it's easy to get to or not. So mobile is something that frankly we're having a little bit of a struggle with, at least deploying in wide areas of our organization, but it's definitely something that we're spending a lot of time thinking through.
I guess one question that I have as you've gone through this, you've been hard at work over the last couple of years on this, what's been the biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge probably has been we are very email-centric, our organization, and getting people to kind of think beyond email has been a challenge, but in fairness, we don't have any social tool integrated so tightly that you could start to give up email in a big way. So that's something that we're really struggling with, is really how do you integrate it into Outlook, but also what does that really mean when you integrate it into Outlook? What kind of behaviors do you think that's going to solve?
So a lot of the vendors in this market would want you to believe that you need to move away from your email. And you talked about this in your talk, the idea that you guys are embracing email and figuring out how do we make this work, understanding that your users are on Outlook.
Exactly.
So that's obviously a key part of your strategy as well.
Right.
So we're here at the Enterprise 2.0 conference, which is the largest gathering in the world for the community around enterprise social software. What would be your key message for them for the week here at E2?
Well, over the last year, I've been to many conferences, spoken on a lot of panels, presented a lot, and attended some. I got to say, this is the best. This is the best one. It's really about internal for my needs. It's really about internal social, which is what I care about. It's dedicated to that, and it's very well attended. Most of my contacts that I have made over the last year have really come out of this event. I absolutely love this event.
That's great. Well, thanks for being here, and thanks for a
you.
great talk.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.